Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay, perfect. So I'm just going to start off by giving you a little bit of information on the company. TeejLab is basically a platform used for API discovery. It has a lot of other features as well, such as some security aspects, but the main thing we're going to focus on today is the API discovery side.
Okay.
And before I begin diving into what APIs are, I want to ask, do you have any pre-existing knowledge on APIs, or have you ever heard about them before?
I've heard of them when I did a little bit of coding, but I don't really know much about them.
Okay, so API stands for Application Programming Interface, and it's basically a piece of software that allows two different applications to speak to each other. So
Okay.
to explain that further, an API is basically a piece of code one organization or developer has created that can be used by other organizations and developers in their own code.
Okay.
So to help you better understand that, I'll provide you with an example. One thing that APIs are really commonly used for is logging into a website. When you create a new account somewhere, you have probably noticed that there's like multiple options. For example, log in using Facebook.
Right.
So basically what that website is doing is it's using the piece of code that has created that login feature from Facebook and implementing it into their own software. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Okay, so you might be wondering why developers use APIs in the first place, and that's because it makes life a lot easier for them. So instead of having to create their own program for certain tasks, they can just use pre-existing programs that do it for them.
Okay.
So I'll show you the discovery platform. I can just sign in over here. And this is what the API discovery platform looks like.
Okay.
So what TeejLab does is it takes APIs from hundreds of different organizations and puts them onto its platform. So if I go to API categories over here, there's like so many different categories. I can go to information and science.
Okay.
Here are all the APIs that we have on this platform that are under the information and science category.
Wow.
So the purpose of this is that when a developer is looking for a specific API for their project, instead of searching through so many different vendors to try and find the perfect one, they can just use TeejLab and they can just come on here, search for what API they want, and they can find hundreds of different options.
Right.
So although there's various like different websites that allow you to discover APIs, the special thing about TeejLab is that you can easily test out all the APIs right here on the website. So I'm going to show you a couple of APIs on the website and walk you through how it works.
Okay.
So the first one I want to show is okay, so this is a local weather API. Imagine if a developer wanted to create their own weather app.
Okay.
How would they it would be difficult for them to find the weather in every single city and have current weather for 14 days, all of that. So
Right.
what they can do is they can use an API that does that for them and just add that API into their program.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so I can go here and we can test it out right on here. So if I click this, you can read a description here. This just basically tells us what the API is doing. This endpoint allows you to access current weather conditions in the next 15 days of accurate and reliable weather forecast, and it returns weather elements such as temperature, precipitation, weather description, weather icon, and wind speed. So here are the required parameters. This is what the user needs to enter in order to get a response. So as you can see, it asks us to provide a location. So I can just use one of the example values, which is Vancouver. There's also optional parameters. These are just used for if you want to customize your response a little more, but they're not required.
Okay.
And if I do execute, it gives me a response. The check mark means that it worked and the response has been given. And here it just gives you a bunch of information involving weather in Vancouver. So here it's giving like general information, like average temperature for each month. And if I scroll down a little farther, it's like giving me the next 15 days, current weather, information involving moon phases, sunsets, all of that. Okay. So as you can see, this would be really useful for somebody who wanted to create a weather app.
Yeah.
Another one I wanted to show you is this one. So as you can see, this API has multiple different URLs. So it means that each of these URLs has a different functionality, but I'm going to show you the tags one. So let's see. This one says this endpoint provides you with numerous keywords describing the given photo. And it asks for a URL of the image you want results based on for required parameters. So we can use the example one. I'll just open this up so we can see what it is. So it's just a landscape. Right. So I can enter that in. So as you can see, it's giving multiple words describing the image, like range, mountain, landscape, mountains, valley, snow, sky, and all of those words describe what's in this image.
That's amazing. Wow.
Yeah. And with that, it's also given a confidence score. So how confident it is that this specific thing is in that image.
Wow.
So this could be really useful for social media apps. If they want to detect like something violent that's been posted, they can use a software like this and they can find words. And if the words are like describing something violent, they can flag the image as inappropriate and it can be really useful for them.
Yeah, no kidding. That's amazing.
Yeah. So another one is Spoonacular. So as you can see, this vendor has multiple different APIs. So one vendor can have more than one APIs too, but I'm going to show you the recipes one. Go to complex search. So the description for this is it searches through hundreds of thousands of recipes using filtering and ranking. Okay. So the required parameter is the recipe search query. So I can use pizza. Now what this does, it just gives a bunch of different recipes for pizza that are available on this website.
Wow. So what do you guys exactly do? Do you guys make these APIs or you guys just basically connect to different people's APIs?
So basically what we do for this is we find APIs from different organizations like Google, Facebook, this one's Spoonacular, right? And we add them onto here so that they're available on here for developers to discover.
Okay.
Yeah. And there's one last one I wanted to show you. So this endpoint detects and analyzes human faces within the image that is provided. So I can use one of the example values or I can find my own. Let's do I can use this one. I can do copy image address. Okay, so that one didn't work. That will happen occasionally if the server, there can be many reasons for an API to not work. It can be that there's an error in the implementation, or it can be that the server is down, but that can happen sometimes. But basically, what this API would do is it would detect how many faces are in the image, and it would tell you where each face is located.
That's cool.
Yeah, there's so many, there's like hundreds of other really cool ones on here, but these are the few that I wanted to show you today. So if you choose to go further with the program, we'll teach you more about that. But I just wanted to give you kind of like a general introduction for today.
Yeah, this is amazing. I didn't even know stuff like this existed.
Yeah, it's really cool. And also, like, if a developer finds an API that they really like and they're like, okay, I want to use this one, we have the documentation linked and the website for the vendor linked. So they can, if they click onto here, this is the documentation the vendor has put out, and it explains, like, it has all the instructions of how to add the API to your own program, so they can easily access that.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah. So that's basically all I had to say for today. Do you have any questions or anything you're curious about?
No, not really.
We would show you a couple of resources, like where you can find these APIs. And we would teach you like how to add them and what you have to, like the documentation, how to read the documentation and all of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's amazing. Yeah, this is definitely something that I'd be interested in.
Oh, that's great. Do you have anything you would like to add?
No, not really. To be honest, coming into this, I didn't really know what to expect. I kind of had a little bit of a basic idea of what APIs were, but you really helped, clear things up and explain things. Yeah, I'm just kind of blown away right now. This is awesome.
Yeah, that's great. And right now, I'm just kind of giving you like a general introduction, but like further into the program, we really dive deeper into APIs and how to use them and their purpose and everything. Right now, I'm just kind of giving you more of a general overview.
Right.
But yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you so much.
No problem. Yep. Speak to you soon.
Okay. See you later. Bye.
Yep.